Before smartphones, before Wi-Fi, before the world changed forever, these were the gadgets that built our childhood. From Walkmans to Tamagotchis, if you grew up in America, the UK, or Canada, get ready. You're about to step back into the greatest era ever. Growing up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s in America, the UK, and Canada was a completely different world, one filled with magic long before the internet or smartphones arrived. Back then, fun didn't come from apps, Wi-Fi, or endless scrolling. It came from the simple, iconic gadgets we cherished. These weren't just objects, they were part of our identity. They filled our weekends, shaped our friendships, and gave us memories we still carry today. Whether it was the excitement of pressing play on a cassette, the endless joy of gaming on a chunky handheld device, or the thrill of snapping photos that developed right in your hands, these gadgets defined an entire generation. They connected us in ways modern technology can't replicate, and each one tells a story of simpler, happier times. Today, we're taking a journey back to those unforgettable years as we count down the old gadgets that built our childhood. So, grab a seat, relax, and let nostalgia take over. And in the comments, tell us, which one of these legendary gadgets do you miss the most? Let's see who remembers what.
Number 1. The Walkman and cassette players. There was truly nothing like the moment you slid your favorite mixtape into a Walkman or cassette player. It was more than just listening to music. It was a whole experience. You pressed play, heard that soft tape hiss, and instantly felt transported. Whether you were riding the school bus, taking a weekend trip with family, or secretly recording songs off the radio late at night, the Walkman was your personal world of sound. And of course, every 70s, 80s, or 90s kid knows the universal rule. If the tape got stuck, the pencil came out. We became little audio doctors, gently twisting and rewinding the film back into place like pros. Those moments created a soundtrack to our childhood, songs we played on repeat until the batteries died, mixtapes made by friends, and the pure excitement of owning music you could carry with you anywhere. Even today, just hearing that familiar static or the click of a cassette sliding into place can bring back a wave of memories. Tell us in the comments, what was the very first song you ever played on your Walkman? Number 2. The Game Boy. It didn't matter where you grew up, Detroit, London, Vancouver, Manchester, or anywhere in between, the Game Boy was the one gadget every kid dreamed of owning. The moment you held that chunky gray brick in your hands, the world around you disappeared. It didn't need a color screen, fancy graphics, or Wi-Fi. It offered something better: pure, unforgettable magic. Tetris blocks falling faster and faster, Mario dashing across tiny pixel worlds, the thrill of catching your very first Pokemon. These games weren't just entertainment, they were a part of childhood identity. Kids played in the back seat during road trips, under the covers at night with a flashlight, or during recess surrounded by friends cheering them on. And of course, every Game Boy owner remembers the battery struggle. 4 AAA batteries that lasted maybe 3 hours if you were lucky. But it never stopped us. We'd dig through drawers, raid TV remotes, or borrow from anything that had power. The Game Boy wasn't just a handheld console. It was a whole childhood in your pocket. Simple, timeless, and absolutely iconic. Number 3. Polaroid instant cameras. There was something truly magical about using a Polaroid instant camera. Long before digital photos and smartphone selfies, the Polaroid gave us the thrill of capturing a moment and watching it appear right in front of our eyes. You snapped the picture, pulled it out, and then the ritual began. Shake it, wave it, blow on it, anything to make the image show up faster. And when that picture finally started to fade into view, it felt priceless. These cameras documented some of the most unforgettable moments of our childhoods. Birthdays filled with laughter, family vacations by the beach, Christmas mornings with wrapping paper everywhere, and yes, all those wonderfully awkward family poses that we still laugh about today. Every photo was one of a kind, with no filters, no retakes, and no editing. What you captured was exactly what you got, and that made each print feel special. Holding a Polaroid was like holding a tiny time capsule, a frozen memory you could tuck into a scrapbook, pin on a wall, or hand to someone you loved. It wasn't just photography, it was instant nostalgia.
Number 4. VHS tapes and VCRs. VHS tapes and VCRs were more than just movie players. They were a full experience that defined childhood in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. For many families across America, the UK, and Canada, Friday nights meant one thing: a trip to Blockbuster or the local video store. Walking down the aisles, reading the backs of movie boxes, and choosing just one tape felt like the biggest decision of the week. Kids today will never understand that kind of excitement. Then came the classic VCR rituals, spending 10 minutes rewinding a movie because the last person forgot, hitting play only to see the screen flicker with static, and of course, every family knew the absolute nightmare: the VCR suddenly eating the tape. The panic, the shouting, and the desperate attempt to save it by carefully pulling the film out with steady hands. Despite the struggles, nothing beat the joy of popping in a VHS tape, hearing that soft whirring sound, and settling in for a cozy movie night. It wasn't just entertainment, it was a tradition, a memory, and a moment that brought everyone together.
Number 5. Tamagotchi. The Tamagotchi was more than just a toy. It was a full-time responsibility wrapped in a tiny egg-shaped device. For kids in the 90s, it felt like owning a real pet, only this one lived in your pocket and beeped at the most inconvenient times. You had to feed it, clean up after it, play with it, and check on it constantly. And if you didn't, well, it died. Dramatically, without warning, usually during math class. This tiny digital creature caused more school drama than anything else on the playground. Kids begged teachers to let them check on their Tamagotchis, friends argued over who neglected theirs, and everyone knew the heartbreak of looking down at the screen only to see that sad little angel floating upward. It was both tragic and hilarious. Still, the Tamagotchi taught a whole generation about responsibility, devotion, and quick reflexes. It kept us up at night, distracted us during class, and made us feel like proud mini-parents, even if our child only survived 3 days at a time. Be honest, did your Tamagotchi ever live longer than a week?
Number 6. Atari Game Console. Before PlayStation, before Xbox, before anyone could even imagine online gaming, there was Atari. This simple 8-bit console didn't need fancy graphics or high-definition screens to captivate an entire generation. It brought the thrill of video games right into our living rooms and changed the way kids played forever. Whether it was the endless chase in Pac-Man, the intense battles of Space Invaders, or the block-stacking madness of Tetris, every game felt like an adventure. Friends would gather around the TV, cheering each other on, arguing about high scores, and sometimes wrestling over whose turn it was next. The controllers were basic, the visuals were pixelated, but the excitement? Absolutely real. For many of us, Atari was more than just a game console. It was a symbol of childhood freedom, hours spent laughing, competing, and losing ourselves in pixelated worlds. Even decades later, just hearing the iconic sounds brings a flood of memories, reminding us how magical those simple games truly were. Who else remembers their first Atari high score? Number 7. Rotary phones. Rotary phones were a staple of childhood homes in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and they were far from simple.
Kids today will never understand the patience, precision, and occasional frustration that came with dialing a number on one of these classic phones. Each digit had to be carefully rotated to the correct position, then released. And you had to wait for the dial to spin all the way back before pressing the next number. And if you made a mistake, just one wrong digit, you didn't just backspace. No, you had to start all over again from the beginning, carefully dialing each number once more. Long phone numbers felt like mini endurance tests, and calling your friends required real focus and skill. Despite the occasional frustration, rotary phones had a charm all their own. They reminded us to slow down, to value communication, and to appreciate the simple things in life. The tactile click, the satisfying spin of the dial, and the anticipation of connecting with someone. Those memories are unforgettable. Who else remembers the first time they successfully dialed a long number without messing up?
Number 8. Discman or CD Walkman. The Discman or CD Walkman was a game changer for kids growing up in the 80s and 90s. Moving from cassettes to CDs felt like stepping into the future. Sleek, shiny discs, crystal clear sound, and the ability to skip straight to your favorite songs. For music lovers of the era, it was nothing short of magical. But with magic came frustration. These early portable CD players were notoriously sensitive. Take one wrong step while walking, and the disc would skip so badly it sounded like a remix, sometimes in the middle of your favorite chorus. Kids learned to master the delicate art of holding the Discman steady, tilting their heads just right, or even walking like a robot to avoid ruining the track. Despite the occasional skips, Discman moments created lasting memories, road trips, school commutes, and hours of pure music enjoyment. It was more than just a gadget. It was a portable time machine for our favorite songs, making every beat and lyric feel alive. Tell us in the comments, what was your go-to CD on your Discman?
Number 9. Boombox, also known as the Ghetto Blaster, was an icon of childhood in the 80s and 90s. Carrying one on your shoulder instantly made you the coolest kid on the block. It wasn't just a music player, it was a statement. The size alone demanded attention, and the booming sound made sure everyone knew what song was blasting, whether they wanted to or not. Saturday mornings were the best. You'd wake up, grab your boombox, and hit the streets. Neighbors were treated, willingly or not, to hours of top hits, dance tracks, or your carefully curated mix of favorites. Friends would gather, dancing and showing off moves, while you proudly held the power in your hands, or rather, on your shoulder. Of course, parents had a different opinion. They hated the noise, the weight, and sometimes even the battery-hungry nature of the device. But for kids, it didn't matter. The boombox wasn't just about music. It was freedom, identity, and an unforgettable part of growing up. Who else remembers blasting their favorite song on a Saturday morning with a boombox?
Number 10. Typewriters. Typewriters were more than just tools. They were the soundtrack of childhood and school life in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. That loud, satisfying clack, clack, clack as your fingers hit the keys echoed through bedrooms, study halls, and quiet corners of the house, turning every homework assignment into a rhythmic experience. Every page typed was a mix of concentration, creativity, and sometimes chaos, especially when deadlines loomed. Making a mistake on a typewriter was no small matter. There was no backspace or delete key, just the dreaded whiteout. One wrong letter, and you had to carefully cover it, hoping the page still looked neat. Using a typewriter required patience, precision, and real commitment. Unlike today's computers where errors are erased instantly, each typed word demanded focus and intention. Despite the challenges, typewriters left a lasting impression. They made kids feel productive, creative, and proud of their work. That familiar sound still brings waves of nostalgia, reminding us of a time when homework was tactile, deliberate,
and somehow more satisfying. Who else remembers the first time they successfully typed an entire page without mistakes?
Number 11. Film projectors. Film projectors were the heart of family movie nights long before streaming, DVDs, or Blu-rays existed. Imagine the excitement of setting up a big reel in the living room, dimming the lights, and hearing the soft hum and rhythmic clicking as the film began to roll. It wasn't just watching a movie, it was an experience, a small ritual that brought everyone together. Kids would sit cross-legged on the carpet, popcorn in hand, eyes wide with anticipation as the images flickered on the screen. Parents carefully threaded the reels, adjusted the focus, and occasionally paused to fix a jam or rewind a scene. Every flicker, every whir, every tiny imperfection added to the charm. Unlike modern digital media, film projectors created a tangible sense of participation and wonder. Each movie night felt special, intimate, and slightly magical, a memory etched into childhood forever. Even now, the soft hum of a projector or the sight of a spinning reel can instantly transport you back to those cozy nights filled with laughter, suspense, and timeless stories. Who else remembers the magic of family film nights on a projector?
Number 12. Etch-a-Sketch. The Etch-a-Sketch was one of the most magical toys of childhood, offering endless creative possibilities with just two simple knobs. One controlled the horizontal line, the other the vertical, and suddenly the blank screen became a world of your imagination. Kids spent hours drawing houses, cars, animals, or their own abstract creations, feeling a mix of pride and concentration with every twist and turn. Of course, perfection was rare. One wrong move, one accidental bump, and everything could be ruined in an instant. But that's where the real fun and frustration came in. The shake to erase feature became both a punishment and a relief. A single vigorous shake wiped away hours of work, leaving a clean slate for new creations. Despite its simplicity, the Etch-a-Sketch taught patience, precision, and creativity. It wasn't just a toy, it was a challenge, a canvas, and a portal to childhood imagination. Even decades later, watching the lines appear as the knobs turned brings back that wonderful mix of excitement and nostalgia. Who else remembers their proudest Etch-a-Sketch masterpiece? Shake It to Erase. Simple, yet addicting. Number 13, pager or beeper. Pagers or beepers were the ultimate status symbol for teenagers growing up in the 80s and 90s. If you had one, suddenly you were someone important, at least in your own world and in the eyes of your friends. The tiny device clipped to your belt or slipped into your pocket made you feel connected, powerful, and just a little bit mysterious. Messages weren't instant like texts today. Instead, a pager beeped, and you had to find a phone to call back. That anticipation, the curiosity about who had tried to reach you, made every beep feel exciting, urgent, and sometimes dramatic. Teens plotted their social lives around pager messages, rushing to the nearest phone to return calls and make plans. Even if you weren't truly important, having a pager gave you a sense of belonging and status. It symbolized independence, social connection, and a slice of teenage freedom. Today, the beep might be obsolete, but the memories of those tiny devices and the excitement they brought remain unforgettable. Who else remembers waiting anxiously for their pager to buzz? Number 14. Pocket radios. Pocket radios were the ultimate companions for kids growing up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Small, portable, and surprisingly powerful, they traveled everywhere with us, on school trips, bike rides, neighborhood adventures, or just hanging out in our bedrooms. These little devices brought the world to our ears, from live baseball games to the latest top 40 hits, weather updates, and even the occasional breaking news. There was something special about tuning into your favorite station, twisting the dial just right, and hearing the crackle of static give way to the music you loved. It wasn't just entertainment, it was a personal soundtrack for our lives. Friends would gather around, listening together, sharing songs, and debating which DJs were the best. Even without playlists or streaming apps, pocket radios created moments of connection, spontaneity, and pure joy. They taught us patience, focus, and how exciting the world could feel through sound. Today, holding a pocket radio or hearing that familiar static instantly transports us back to a simpler, magical time. Who else remembers their favorite radio station on the go? Number 15. Cassette tape recorder. Cassette tape recorders were one of the most versatile gadgets of childhood in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. With just a small recorder and a blank tape, kids could capture almost anything, recording songs straight from the radio, saving a favorite DJ's playlist, or even preserving their own voice in all its glory. It wasn't just about music, it was a tool for creativity, experimentation, and a little harmless mischief. Of course, pranksters quickly discovered the recorder's potential. From leaving funny messages for siblings to imitating teachers or parents, cassette tape recorders became the ultimate instrument for humor and mischief. Many of us spent hours perfecting our secret recordings, waiting for the perfect moment to press play and watch the chaos unfold. These little devices were more than gadgets. They were the catalysts for laughter, ingenuity, and playful memories. They gave a generation of kids the freedom to experiment, create, and entertain. Even decades later, the sound of a tape clicking into place brings back the charm, excitement, and innocence of those times. Who else remembers their first secret recording on a cassette tape recorder? Number 16. The Viewmaster. The Viewmaster was pure magic in a small plastic toy. With a simple click, the world around you transformed. Click once, and you are exploring distant lands, towering castles, or wild jungles. Click again, and you are diving into the depths of the ocean, or wandering through a cartoon wonderland. Every reel offered a new adventure, all in stunning 3D that made every scene feel alive. For kids growing up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, the Viewmaster wasn't just a toy, it was a passport to imagination. Whether it was flipping through reels of animals, superheroes, or faraway cities, it allowed us to explore places we might never see in real life. Friends would gather, sharing reels, comparing favorites, and marveling at the tiny worlds spinning in front of our eyes. Even today, holding a Viewmaster brings back a flood of memories. The excitement, the wonder, and the endless creativity it inspired. It reminded us that adventure could fit right in the palm of our hands. Who else spent hours clicking through their favorite reels?
Number 17. Slide projectors. Slide projectors were the heart of family storytelling before digital cameras and slideshows took over. On family vacations, birthdays, or holidays, the living room would transform into a theater of memories. Each photo was displayed one at a time, creating suspense and anticipation for what moment came next. Dad would carefully click through the slides while Mom narrated each scene, adding stories, laughter, and even playful commentary. For kids, it was magical. Every click revealed a snapshot of adventure, sunny beaches, amusement parks, camping trips, or candid family moments. The grainy slides and the faint whirring of the projector made the experience feel intimate and real. Friends and relatives would gather around, eager to see familiar faces, funny mishaps, or incredible scenery captured forever on film. Slide projectors weren't just about viewing pictures, they were about sharing stories, reliving experiences, and creating family traditions. Even decades later, the image of a spinning projector wheel and the click of a new slide instantly brings back the warmth, nostalgia, and joy of those special moments. Who else remembers sitting cross-legged waiting for the next slide?
Number 18. Super 8 cameras.
Super 8 cameras were more than just gadgets. They were time machines that preserved some of the most important moments of our lives. Before smartphones and digital video, these cameras allowed families to capture birthdays, holidays, vacations, and even the tiniest everyday moments in vivid motion. From our parents' proud smiles to our own childhood antics, Super 8 films documented it all, including every awkward or embarrassing moment that we secretly love to relive today. Using a Super 8 camera required patience and care. Families would carefully thread the film, adjust the focus, and hope they captured the perfect shot. Every frame counted, and there was no delete button if something went wrong. This made every recording feel intentional and special, creating lasting memories that families could watch together for years. Even decades later, the soft whir of a Super 8 projector and the flickering images evoke a flood of nostalgia. These cameras didn't just record life, they preserved the magic of growing up, the joy of family, and moments that will never fade. Who else remembers watching old Super 8 movies with their family?
Number 19. Answering machines. Answering machines were one of the small, but unforgettable gadgets of the 80s and 90s. Coming home from school or work and spotting that little red light blinking on the machine instantly sparked curiosity and excitement. Who had called while you were out? Was it a friend, a family member, or maybe someone you didn't expect? The anticipation made every message feel important, even if it was just a quick, "Don't forget to take out the trash." Listening to the recorded messages was its own little ritual. Press play, hear the familiar beep, and sometimes rewind to catch a missed word. Kids and teens often waited impatiently, counting the seconds before finally picking up the phone to return the call. And of course, answering machines could create drama. Misheard messages, unexpected calls, or mysterious voicemails made for endless conversations and sometimes playful arguments with siblings. Despite being simple by today's standards, answering machines connected us in a tangible way. They brought excitement, suspense, and even a little mischief into everyday life, leaving memories that still make us smile. Who else remembers running to check that blinking red light?
Number 20. Early Nokia and Motorola phones. Early Nokia and Motorola phones were the ultimate symbols of childhood and teenage life in the 90s and early 2000s. These brick phones were massive by today's standards, but they were indestructible legends. Drop them? No problem. Spill a little water? Still worked. Their durability was unmatched, and kids quickly realized these phones could survive almost anything life threw at them. The battery life was another miracle. Unlike today's smartphones, these phones could go an entire week without charging, giving us a sense of freedom and reliability we rarely experience now. And of course, no nostalgic phone story is complete without mentioning Snake. Everyone, and we mean everyone, spent hours slithering that little pixelated snake across the screen, trying to beat high scores and secretly challenging friends. Early Nokia and Motorola phones weren't just gadgets, they were companions, status symbols, and entertainment rolled into one. They combined practicality, fun, and resilience in a way no modern phone can match, making them unforgettable icons of a simpler, playful era. Who else remembers losing hours to Snake on their first phone? Technology has changed, but the memories of our childhood remain timeless. These iconic gadgets shaped our lives in America, the UK, and Canada, filling our days with joy, laughter, and unforgettable moments. They connected us, sparked creativity, and created stories we still cherish today. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who grew up in the greatest era ever. Thanks for watching Viral TV 10, where nostalgia lives forever.